my friends. My friends get few, but I need you, Jesus. Please, Lord. I get confused sometimes. I get confused. I get confused. And I need you, Jesus. Please, Lord. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Do it for me right now. And I know that you're able and that you got all power in the palm of your hand. Fix my mind. Fix my mind. Do it for me right now. And fix my heart. Fix my heart. Fix my heart. Does anybody need fixing? Anybody need fixing? If you need fixing, stand on your feet. If you need fixing, clap your hands. Won't God do it? Won't God do it? He did it for me, and He'll do it for you. Fix it, Jesus. High blood pressure, sugar, diabetes, cancer. Do it for me right now, because I know you're able. Stop by the hospital. Somebody's laying there, body racking with pain. Won't God fix it? Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Anybody need fixing? Anybody need fixing? Do it for me right now. And I know that you're able. I know that you're able. Wave your hand. If God fixed it. If God fixed it. Stand on your feet. He healed your body. He kept your mind. Woke you up this morning. Started it right on time. Fix it, Jesus. On my way home. On my way home. On my way home. And I need you, Jesus. Please, Lord. You would. I don't know about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from God's sunshine, for his skies may turn gray. Oh, what Jesus said, and today he walks beside me, for he knows what lies ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know he holds the future.
Power to preach an uncompromised gospel. Power to preach an uncompromised gospel. Fill me, fix me, and favor on me on this day that I'm able to feed your people. I go on record to declare, not to take credit for anything you do in this place. As an instrument, as a tool for you to use, offer myself up, get glory in and through me. In the matchless and Jehovistic name of your darling son Jesus, do pray and ask it all. Amen. Who lived better than me slept on? Who lived better than me slept on this week? Somebody slept on this year, but his sparing grace has afforded me the privilege to make it to this last Sunday in this year, and I'm grateful to God for that. Listen, I don't want to bore your patience. Media, forgive me for not forwarding your info. I had in mind to do it at 2:30 this morning. Joshua chapter 6, and so while they're pulling that, Joshua chapter 6, beginning in that first verse, Joshua chapter 6. Again, I apologize, media, for not forwarding you that info. Joshua chapter 6, beginning at verse 1, I'll be lifting the King James rendering. When you arrive there, I would to God that you would acknowledge it by saying amen. If you're still, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. May the Lord add a blessing to the reader, the hearer, and certainly the doer of his most holy, righteous, and divine word. For the sake of emphasis, allow me to lift verse 2 again. He said unto Joshua, See, I've given into your hand Jericho, the king thereof, in your hand Jericho, the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. With God's help and your prayers for the time that we have to share together, I simply want to talk with this thought in mind. You're one wall away. Space. You're one wall away. Somebody can't get excited, so let me just kind of lay the groundwork here. An exhilarating experience calls me to be filled with sudden joy after reaching a certain place this past week. That experience that was so exhilarating gave birth to an epiphany. I mention it because Thursdays happen to be my regular scheduled barber day. I go every Thursday at 10 o'clock. I park in the same space. I know the regulars who show up on Thursday. I'm familiar with what barbers they go to when they get there. Typically, when I show up at the barber shop on Thursdays, I'm in and out under an hour. But because of the holidays, this isn't my regular scheduled day. Where I normally park, Brother Colvin, has been taken. I walk in, I scan the place. There's hardly anywhere to sit. The shop is full, but barbers are few. Either they're late or they're still on holiday. At any rate, I fire off a text to my wife. I say to her in this text message, at minimum, there's at least 6 people ahead of me. I know this because one gentleman comes solo every Thursday. The other one brings his 4 sons that are being homeschooled every other Thursday. Now, because I know that it's going to be a minute, I approach my barber. I say to him, is there a lot of people ahead of me? I know at least 6. He says, yeah. He said, I didn't expect for it to be this busy on the day. In turn, I say to him, I'm going to go to my vehicle and study, because I go in, I take a seat, and my barber says to me, he says, you got one more ahead of you, and then you're in the seat. Not long after, suddenly he motions for me, it's my turn. I can't tell you the joy I had just making it to the front of the line. Now, Morgan, I want you to look around, because I don't need people to judge me too harshly for this. But as I was making it, when you make it to your weekend, it brings a sense of excitement. Come on, educators, let me bring you in. Support staff, when you make it to spring break, summer break, Christmas break, it's sometimes even lunch break can bring you a sense of excitement. If you can imagine what it's like to wait for something and you finally get to that desired place where there is a sense of excitement, then you'll understand that that's how I felt on my way to the barber's chair. Now, if you can identify with that, imagine the joy and the excitement the children of Israel had after 40. In fact, if you flip back to chapter 5, looking at verse 10, it says that they've been camping out in the plains of Jericho, that they can view victory from Gilgal. They're literally steps away from occupying the place of victory. They're already in Canaan, and just being in Canaan represents the fact that they're in the place of victory. Help me preach right here. Canaan was promised prior to the birth of these Israelites, because in Exodus chapter 3, God spoke to Moses out of a bush that was on fire, yet it wasn't being consumed, and he tells Moses, I've heard the cries of my people, and I've come down to deliver them. He says, I'm going to lead them into a place that flows with milk and honey. I thought I was in Bible country. Israel isn't only in a promised place, but they're in the pursued place. He says your garments stayed intact. Your feet didn't swell. Your shoes didn't wear out. God says over these 40 years, they weren't always easy. You had to deal with some bitter water. You had to bury some loved ones. You had to bear some burdens. You had to fight some battles. But even though you dealt with bumps, battles, burdens, bitterness, and burials, I still bless you. I wish you'd help me preach right here. So not only is Canaan the promised place and the pursued place, but Canaan is the place that they've been preparing for. It took 40 years, but they're now ready to walk into. From the plains of Gilgal, Israel can see this impenetrable wall. The text says that Jericho was straightly shut up. It's a walled city. Israel has to deal with this wall. Allow me to park parenthetically, and I promise I'll cut through Miss Bell's yard and pick up on the other side. As quiet as it's kept, walls are real. Metaphor is on the other side of this wall. Notice the text. The Lord tells Joshua, in order to get beyond the wall, he says you need to focus on the promise. Listen, if we can't focus, our focus will affect our future. If the enemy then the enemy can hinder our future. If the devil can distract you, then the devil can defeat you. That's a word for somebody in this house. And my job is to make sure that you get a word. Something I need to hear before I preach. Come talking to me about how somebody got your parking spot. That's not something I need to hear when I'm getting ready to preach. Come talking to me about somebody who didn't speak to you. That's not something I need to hear when I'm getting ready to preach. Because if I lose focus, people won't get fed. If we read this casually, we'll miss the inference of the text. Watch this. God tells Joshua, don't focus on what's before you. He said, but focus on what's beyond you. God doesn't talk about the walls first. Read the text. Right there. I'm saying to you, your footprint is about to be increased. Your profile is about to be elevated. You're about to be in position where you'll be the instructor giving the directions. Your clearance has been upgraded. You're about to be in boss mode because God is getting ready to take you to another level. Watch the text. I'm almost out of here. I hear music. God says you're going to be enlarged, but you're also going to be in charge. It's in the text. He said, Joshua, look at your hand. He said, I know you've never been to Jericho. He said, but I'm giving you the city. I'm giving you access. You're going to be exposed to some places that your background didn't prepare you for. You're going to have authority over people that didn't recognize your value and your worth. And when it takes place, don't you give credit to your intellect. Don't you give credit to your mama and daddy. Don't you give credit to your connections. Don't give credit to your credentials. Lift your hands, throw your head back, look towards heaven, and give God glory. You got to maintain your focus. You got to maintain your focus. He said, don't get caught up with the barriers. He said, but be on lookout for the blessings. He said, don't concern yourself with things that the Lord has taken care of to come to pass. If God promised you that you'll be the head, then headship is on the way. If God promised you you will be the lender, then financial favor is on the way. If God promised to restore your health, then by his stripes, you already healed. If God promised promotion, elevation is on the way. Listen, he says, Joshua, my word carries more weight than the wall. God, that there are people around you and in your life who are trying to hold you back and prevent you from getting what's beyond the wall. They trying to tell you that you ought to be satisfied on the job that you have. They're trying to tell you you don't need to go back to school to further your education. They're trying to tell you that you could be content with your status, but you should be satisfied with where you are in life. But what they don't understand is that you would settle, but there's a fire down on the inside that's pushing you to pursue what's on the other side of the wall. And you know that you've been observing. His word says that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. Jesus said, the thief come but to steal, to kill, and destroy. But I've come that you live in overflow, that you have life and have it more abundantly. But I need to tell somebody that in order to get what's on the other side of the wall, you need to have a hall pass, because this stuff on the other side, it's been designated, it's been set aside, it's been earmarked for the family of God. Can't know anybody get what's on the other side. You can't reap if you haven't been redeemed. You can't have unless you have a relationship with him. You know the story. In order to get what's on the other side, you have to have a connection with the one who tore down the middle wall of petition. He hung out there. He bled out there. He died out there. They brought him down. They buried him in a borrowed tomb. But early Sunday morning, he rose with all power. And because he rose, because he got up, because I'm connected to him, the stuff on the other side of the wall, I got access to the stuff on the other side of the wall. I'm walking in my new season. I'm possessing the land. I'm taking authority because what God has for me, it is. I'm saying to somebody in here, all of your belongings, make your way to this altar. Bring your family. I'm waiting on you. Don't delay. Listen, God has been keeping you all year long. He's covered you. He's provided for you outside of the viewing audience, but in the presence of an almighty God. Listen. I'm not going to close this out without making this one last appeal. Talking to somebody right now. Nobody knows but you and God that you made a decision that if he got you back to his house, if he spared you, you were going to surrender all to him. I'm waiting on you. I need you to meet me. Don't delay, don't put it off. I wasn't there when you uttered those words, but you know it happened. Now be bold, be courageous, make your way. If you don't come here, don't you exit this campus without getting my attention. Don't do it. It said don't make a vow to the Lord if you don't plan on keeping it. Bless you. You may be seated, please. Man, how we thank God. All that has transpired on this day, on 1,000 hills, giving back to a God who's declared that the earth is his. Giving back to a God who declares that all in the silver and gold is mine. Even though it's his. He's so kind. He's so gracious. He trusts us to bring a tithe and an offering into the storehouse, that his house might have meat. He says, I need you to do something. If you don't think my word is good, put me to a test. See if I won't open up windows, pour out blessings that you don't have room enough to receive. He says, and because you've done it, I'm on retainer. I will rebuke the devourer